It's Manscaped Mouth Experience Monday. Dude, Tyler, and JD do another blind for Mouth Experience Monday, and this time it's Old Ezra's 7-year. Find out what we thought on this episode of the Bourbon Hunters. Have you thought about supporting our podcast? Head on over to our website at www.bourbonhunters.com where you can by picking up one of our Kinsey drams or ordering from our partners over at manscaped.com. Thank you for taking time out of your day to join us on our hunt for great bourbon. Reward yourself and sit back, grab a pour, kick up your feet, and enjoy. Welcome to another episode of the Bourbon Hunters. This is Mouth Experience Monday. Thanks for joining in. We've got
Tyler Schaefer
and
JD Fritches
and Dude Pool as always. But we're back to the blinds. We had head-to-head 2 weeks ago with myself and JD, and then we did a blind last week. And I think that one turned out. We did Elmer T. Lee last week. That was a fun one.
Very surprising blind.
Well, what was the outcome?
I think we were all I think Brett gave it a low score. You and I were like 3.6 or something like that, 3.7. And then Brett gave it like a 3.2.
You traditionally like Elmer T. Lee.
I do.
Yeah,
and
it was one of those things that like you were surprised that it tasted so good, but not worth secondary.
Yeah.
Right.
You're like, oh,
it's
this
MSRP.
is really good.
MSRP. Made sense.
Especially for the proof.
But I wouldn't spend 180 on it.
Oh, no.
Right. So, fellas, do you want your grooming routine to be a one-and-done deal? Well, the days of using the same trimmer for your face and your private parts are over thanks to your friends over at Manscaped. They've come up with the ultimate package to keep your hairs trimmed from 12 to 6. Introducing the Beard and Balls bundle featuring the Lawnmower 5.0 and the Beard Hedger. A trimmer for the moneymaker and another for the boys downstairs. Get 20% off plus free shipping with the code Bourbon Hunters at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping with the code Bourbon Hunters at manscaped.com. For the premium grooming experience, trust Manscaped. All right, guys. So let's nose this thing. What do we got?
We got bourbon.
Yeah. I will go last since I provided the blind.
Kind of like a Smarty note.
A what now?
Smarty candy.
Oh, okay, Smarty. I thought you said Sparty. I'm like, what the hell is like Sparty after a game?
Smarty smells bad after a game, being trapped in that costume
suit. Yeah. All right, Smarty. I could see that maybe. I get maybe a little bit of cinnamon, maybe.
Definitely some vanilla.
Vanilla for sure.
A hint of oak.
Yep, I get some of that as well. All right. Well, let's dive in. What do you guys get on the palate?
Different than I expected from that nose.
I feel like it's a little...
It's a lot more darker and brighter.
Ooh.
It's got a little proof to it, too.
Sure.
Okay. So you guys think it's a little higher in the proof?
Is this a Hyman pour?
It is not.
Okay, so it's a little high in the proof. Or oaky. It's either oaky or it's got a little proof to it.
All right. Nice. So any flavors, now that you go back to it, any flavors besides the oak?
I usually get that in the second sip.
Yeah.
All right.
Still pretty
Tobacco.
peppery to me. Peppery, cinnamony.
I would agree. I get a little bit of peppery. I get a little bit of cinnamon. They almost kind of blend together. Like I'm not 100% sure if it's actual cinnamon or if it's just a spice from the, if it's a
little proof.
Yeah, something like that.
There's nothing really sweet about it.
Not
No,
really.
I don't. I would agree with that.
I mean, it's a good pour. I enjoy it.
This is one that I feel like I would love to have not on my first drink. And two, how much better it would be, second glass in. Like 2 glasses of this.
What kind of pour would you prefer before this?
Something lower proof to get your palate ready, or what do you mean?
Maybe, but not even so much that, but like so often I'll drink something, have a small pour of it, and then I'll pour a second drink of it, and it shines even better. Or it's worse. Or it's like, nah, that was kind of dampered. I think this one would shine the second glass of it in, if that makes sense. I don't know that I need something
I think
else.
that makes sense, yeah.
I don't think I need something else. I just 2 glasses of this would be money.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's do some final tastings, and then I'll give some hints as to what it is.
A little more flavor on the third drink.
Okay. If you take a smaller sip,
Yeah.
like not as big of a sip. Ooh, some nutty. It's got some nuttiness to it.
I definitely got nutty on that last one for sure. All right, yeah,
I'm
Should we
kind
rate it
of
first?
I'm kind of thinking in the Jim Beam family.
I was going to go like a Wild Turkey 101. Is
Okay.
my guess.
They both have nutty characteristics to them.
okay.
I was thinking something maybe like I usually don't use something allocated like Baker's 13, something
Sure.
that was has some age to it. It's kind of a little higher in the proof realm,
Okay.
but I don't think it's that.
All right. So, what would you guys rate this? What do you think on the rating?
Go ahead, JD. I'm going to give it one more sip.
I think it's right there with what I gave Maker's Mark 101, right at that 3.2.
Okay, so just 3-2, huh? All right.
I'm going to give 3.
3-3, 3-2. All right. So I'm going to tell you that this distillery was founded by a group that originally was a distributor. And that distributor was based out of St. Louis.
I know this one.
You should.
I know this one. God damn it.
This brand was acquired in 1993 by the company I just mentioned. And it is now owned by another company within the last 2 years.
Oh shit! Is this early times?
It is not, but that's a good guess. I will tell you the mash bill is 78% corn, 12% malted barley, and 10% rye.
I'm going to go 1792 full proof.
No. This is 58.5% alcohol by volume, so 117. That should give you a nice little hint.
Lux Row.
Yeah.
Is it Lux 12?
No.
No.
Old Ezra 7.
Oh wow.
So, Old Ezra 7.
So now what
Is
I was
this their own?
anticipating.
Is this NGP distillate or is it still Heaven Hill?
I have no idea what this is. This is older. I haven't gotten
This would be a
recently,
Heaven
so-
Hill, which makes sense for the nutty.
So this bottle is probably 2
Do they
years
get all
old,
that?
3 years old.
Think that they got all their stuff from Heaven Hill?
They used to before
used
they
to.
got bought out.
Like
They got
before they got bought out 2 years ago.
Hold on, we don't know. I'm pretty sure they got their wheat from Heaven Hill. I don't know that they got their rye stuff, their rye
Okay.
bourbons. I know they got their wheat stuff from Heaven Hill. I'm not sure. I thought they may have gotten a lot of their rye stuff from Indiana,
Yeah, probably.
from MGP, because if
Is
you
this
look,
a rye?
yeah, it's a rye-based
The rye
bourbon.
base.
So if you look on their old bottles, even their Ezra Brooks and before it was Ezra 99, all that stuff, their bottles would say distilled for Lux Row, and I think it had Indiana on it. But it didn't say distilled by. Their new bottles of like Ezra 99 and stuff like that, I believe, have all switched over to distilled by Lux Row.
Okay.
But before it would say distilled for Lux Row, and I'm pretty sure it was Indiana.
It's got a great nose. It's just the palate's different from your nose.
Yeah, it is. It's not what I was expecting at all. I expected a little bit more like Old Granddad on the flavor, and I got a little bit more, like you said, maybe like a nuttiness, a Heaven Hill. But this is, I mean, 7-year-old bourbon, and if it's MGP, and those were the malted barley was 12%, and the rye was less, right? So we were talking 10% rye.
Yeah, that wouldn't
12%
be a
malted
Heaven Hill
barley.
bourbon mash bill.
And then 78%
Corn.
So, I mean, really think about it. That makes sense. That nuttiness. I'm surprised there's not a little more like cacao type of a flavor to it, just with that malted barley. But
I get that cacao out of Heaven Hill Weeders for sure.
yeah. So I think for me, I knew what this was going in. Hadn't had this for a while, and I would say for me, this is probably a 3.5. I like this.
I like it too.
I think it's good.
I mean, 3.2 is not a bad score.
No. And again, these are all shelfers. I mean, Ezra 7's a tougher one to find, but it's a lot easier to find than a lot of stuff. Like last week we did Elmer Teely. That's not easy.
It's
to find.
impossible.
Yeah. So this is way easier than that to find. This week I wanted to mix it up with something a little bit higher proof since we've been doing lower proof stuff. And I wanted to do something that was still not super easy to get, but at least more readily available than, say, Elmer T. Lee. So I wanted to come back down to earth a little bit. So, yeah, I think that's not bad. You said, what did you say? 3.3, 3.2, and I said 3.5. So, yeah.
It's that 3.3 realm.
Yeah, right
Average.
in that 3.3 rounds. Yeah, so I think this is something I always buy if I see it, first off.
I have an unopened older bottle.
Yeah, and this is just something I always buy if I see it on this shelf. So, it's going to be one of those things that I like to always have one on my shelf somewhere because I do every once in a while get like a hankering for it.
Yep.
You know. All right, guys. Well, we are at the 10-minute mark, so thanks for joining in, and join us this coming Wednesday when we take a break from the Elijah Craig Barrel Proof series and do just a hodgepodge of things I've collected recently that we just hadn't gotten to, and there was no real theme to throw them in with. So we're just going to do a hodgepodge next week, or this coming Wednesday. Thanks, and talk to you then. Thank you for joining us on yet another hunt for great bourbon. Please give us a 5-star review anywhere you are listening. But if you can't, leave some constructive criticism in the review so that we can get better at improving our show. Good reviews help us bring better guests on for your listening pleasure, not mine. But until then, sit back, grab a pour, kick up your feet, and enjoy some bourbon.